All right, so using the pen tool, I've created this, and you'll see I have Bezier curves. I held down Shift-C to get to the Convert Anchor Point tool. That allows me to adjust these handles. And I can even pull handles out if I need to. So turn a straight line into a curve, or make a curve into a straight line. I can even take a handle and pull it around the other way. So this tool is very old to Illustrator. It's kind of very key to its development and its history, but it is not very intuitive. But they can't get rid of it because people that have spent a long time learning how to use it just right would be very upset if all of a sudden it wasn't there. I can also use the small selection tool and just move anchor points around and get them closer to where I want. And I can also use the small selection to modify the Bezier handles. But what's tricky about that is you need to make sure you're selecting individual anchors. And then individual handles. And this is how you get complex curves in your paths without just drawing them. So notice when I change the handles with the small selection tool, it locks them in place. But if I use the anchor point tool, then I can actually bend a handle separately on each side or convert it to a straight. So there's a lot of just little subtle options you have. So I'll work a lot between those two to refine any pen work I do. And again, you can hold down Command to get to the small selection tool. But that Convert Anchor Point tool won't move points for you the same way that small selection tool will. But it will move handles for you. And you can only have one handle. You can move it back into the point so you get that kind of a sharp going into the curve. Okay, it looks like I actually need to add an anchor point, or maybe just move this one down to about here in order to match, yeah, the curve of that logo. And then these have to change, but only one side of it has to change. Like so. But I don't know if I want to point, so. Oh, there it is. So maybe I'm going to add an anchor point here. Plus will do that for me. And now Shift-C. And now I can soften that a little bit. So very subtle control is possible. With the pen tool. And you can really create any shape as perfectly as you like if you take the time to use it correctly. But it isn't at all intuitive unless you're familiar with AutoCAD and a lot of older versions of digital imaging software. But I'm certainly making this bow tie my own now by having to go through all of this. So why do I prefer the pencil tool? Well, I just take it, and because I'm pretty good at drawing, spend a lot of time getting good at drawing, I just like to use that and just redraw it. Let it place the anchors for me. But the pencil tool can be really helpful when you need to be super accurate. You need to have exact control of individual curves. It's all personal aesthetics and taste. I like that kind of hand-drawn street art, cut stencil look for my logos. But I've had to do one for clients that look cleaner, and I've had to use the pen tool for those. All right. So I'm actually going to put some wobble into this curve, even though I got it perfect with the pen tool. And I'll take its transparency back up to 100%. And let's see how that looks without the sketch. Yep, that's pretty good. And now I was thinking about it, and the jaw is fine. It looks very zombie-ish, but I thought it might be funnier to have kind of a skull and crossbones underneath instead of the jaw. And so I got some more reference, because instead of the crossbones, I thought it'd be funny to have drumsticks. So I found, photographic reference of Kentucky Fried Chicken drumsticks, not the fully breaded ones, because those just are unrecognizable. That's what that is. And I also found some vectors, but I wasn't really happy with any of the vectors. I guess this was kind of the best one, but it looks clumsy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that photo in, just so you can see the limitations of vector programs. And I'm going to image trace it. I'll just let it do its own thing. And so that converts the photo to that. I'm going to ignore the whites by going to advanced and ignore the white on the live trace. And that gives me a shape I can modify. But I can play with the live trace options here. And this is from a photo, remember, and tell it I want fewer paths or more paths, more corners or fewer corners. More noise or less noise. Right. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe about there. And then I simply say expand and it will convert it into a vector. I want to put it on its own layer, separate from the bow tie. So we make a new layer above that. Remember, layers are just organizational tools for you. Lock the rest. So now I use the large selection tool, and I can rotate it. I can shrink it. Hold down Shift to lock its proportions. I can make it a little bit skinnier. Okay, and now I want to draw with these existing vector shapes. So I'm going to use the pencil tool. I'm going to make this drumstick my own, holding down Command to be able to redraw the bone. And the advantage of doing it this way is I already have some holes cut out of it, which I can make into shapes. I don't need to do that whole exclude compound layer thing too much. If I already have holes to work with. I can connect the bone a little bit, just a little stream here. I can make a bike coming out of it. And so here I'm using the raw material from the live trace of a photograph, and I'm going to make it into my own kind of creepy drumstick. I think it can look cool. It wasn't part of my sketch, so I don't quite know how to envision it yet. Oh, that did too much. Remember, you just always have to start and stop on the path. Huh. Oh, I see why it's doing that. I have to leave it open. There we go. And remember, I have my pencil set to slightly smooth it, so every time I'm redrawing, it's giving me a fairly smooth line that makes sense. Kind of matches the approach to the rest of the logo. Okay, so that looks good. It's a little too small though, so instead of maybe crossing them over, well, I don't know. It's tough because I want to keep that. I want to keep the bow tie in there, whatever that kind of tie is called. So now let me take it, the whole thing. What if I just have one underneath? Maybe I don't need the crossed. Maybe I make it a little bit bigger now that I've made it my own. It's a nice idea. I think it distracts though. Maybe I can make the bow tie out of it. Ooh, let's see. Because remember, vectors are scalable, so it doesn't matter what size they are. They're going to have all that detail either way. No, all right. I'm abandoning the chicken. It's a nice little vector of a drumstick, though. Maybe I'll have some other use for it. But I'll turn that off. And back to the jaw. How do I make the jaw what I like? Make a new layer. I'm going to do this quickly with the pencil tool, and then my next demo will be adding color and then saving it for printing. You need the slack jaw for it to really look like a zombie. And I'm going for a mask, so I guess the chicken logo thing was reaching a little bit. I just get ideas sometimes. I think I gave him too much teeth, too many teeth. You can never trust a zombie with too many teeth.